The thing that is interesting for me again, right, is drawing this connection between spiritual places of worship, whether they are churches, mosques, ashrams, caves, wherever human beings have gone to worship, drawing a connection between that and what the most cutting edge brain science is teaching us about the human mind, right? So you are a researcher at a top institution, right? And I call you and I say to you that, hey, you know what? I get this experience when I go to church, man. When I sit in the church, I feel so energized, man. And we just had somebody revamp the organ in the church, and the choir must have gotten a new set of voices because I feel so energized. And you say to me, Charles, well, actually, this is what is happening to you. When you go to church, before you enter the church, you have a whole bunch of processes that are running on your brain. And those processes consume a lot of energy. And you are so designed that when you enter a church and a certain atmosphere is imposed on experience, a whole bunch of those processes stop. They are inhibited. And when they are inhibited, your energy obviously goes up because it's as if you are carrying this weight and then all of a sudden you come decoupled from it. So you can travel a lot farther.
Yes. Yeah, that's the means how the religions took place, and that's the one of the thing means why religion is important to humanity somehow to just suppress this process.
And you think that, and when I say to you that, oh, by the way, in the world in which I live, which is to say outside of the ivory tower and the places where you do all the big computation with the big boxes, if I say to you that we are observing that there's a drop in participation in church, people's attendance, church attendance, and except there's also an increase in the number of people who claim to want to be spiritual, you are going to then be able to posit that, or can I then tempt you with a question? Is there a connection between the fact that people no longer have this ability to self-regulate, to inhibit themselves by religion, that we are seeing an uptick in the use of recreational drugs like marijuana, psilocybin? Like people are seem to be looking for new ways of regulating themselves.
Right. So now there will be another trend. Those people are not going to these places or not following anything. So most of time, those people always you will observe they are taking drugs, every different drugs to
They're trying to inhibit their
yes,
brain. They're trying to do the same thing that the churches
right,
used to do, that the mosques used to do, that the ashrams used to do.
so just go 30 years ago. They will be you never heard about drugs, right? Very less. But right now, every
Every week, yeah, every week we discover a new psychotropic.
every nation have a one problem with drugs. Why it comes automatically?
But why are certain drugs so amenable to replacing the spiritual experience,
So, so see,
or mimicking the signature its signature on the mind? Actually, this is interesting. Do you have comparisons of images of people's brains when they are in religious ecstasy? Saint Therese of Avila in one of her moments versus somebody tripping on psilocybin.
I don't have those images, but
But based what would you posit? See, anyway, I forget who said it, but somebody said that when very intelligent people make mistakes, they are more important than when average minds get things right. So I'm really also interested in the things that people like you get wrong, even when you do get them wrong. So I'll that is my caveat for asking you things that I know that you don't have the research to back. But I trust your intuition because I've tested it in other things and it's been sharper than diamonds, and because I mean, again, just to get us back on track, right? I'm trying to draw the whole arc so that because my brain does this thing where it just flies off in tangents, right? we started this conversation around sensory overload, how systems handle sensory overload. And one of the things you said was that the brain is a reward driven system. And because the brain is a reward driven system, it is going to need to want to always satisfy itself, right? Now, there are certain ways of seeking that satisfaction that are not compatible with society, right? And this thing has been codified over ages into something called religion. So that when a child is born, we install this thing on them and then they are able to inhibit themselves. Now, prior to us having this conversation, that's not how I thought about religion at all. I didn't think religion was giving me a set of instruments with which I'll be able to inhibit myself so that I don't have to fight so hard not to smack my boss, right? So that I don't have to work so hard not to stare too much at a girl at the counter, right? And make her uncomfortable. And you are saying that what is happening is that increasingly systems like mine which is to say these minds are getting so overloaded that they are unable to deal with the stimuli that is coming into them. And at the same time, I do not have a daily evening puja worship that I can go to and just cleanse myself, just brings, which is to say, stop certain processes. Now, this is the thing that you are uncorking for me that is really valuable, right? The ability to map this neuro-linguistic, no, that's not what I'm looking for. The ability, the ability to map the how the brain talks about language or uses language and these things that are opaque to us, such as going to church, such as bowing down 100 times, such as counting a set of beads. What are we doing? What you're saying is that, what you're doing, Charles, when your guru tells you that take these beats and count them, is that you are stopping certain processes, and so you are reducing the wear and tear on the central processors. You are bringing the CNS down, and as you stop those processes, you are raising your energy. That is why whenever you come out of prayer or meditation, you feel like you can fly. But the more you engage the world, the more the same processes begin to start consume. And then before you know it, Chrome is 92% of your CPU and your memory's consumption, right? And you are now tying that, we're now trying to piece together the two parts of the fact that with the drop in participation in religion in churches, has come with a rise in the need for psychotropics, for the psilocybin, and for all of it, because we need new ways of regulating the same.
But you see those images while people do drugs, they can't move, right?
Yeah.
They just stop and they can't do anything. What that drugs did actually, that inhibit every process.
Whoa.
Those are like such a chemicals. Those they just simply try to just stop every functionality in brain.
So basically, all of these drugs, starting from cigarettes, they're all on an arc of inhibition, of brain inhibition, until you inhibit the brain so much that you're dead. Which is that you take an overdose of something you shouldn't take, and it just shuts everything, including the processes that are just foundational to the existence of biology, down.
Right. This is not the one thing. Those people want to be in a very, very spiritual people. They also try to inhibit some process, taking some natural types of drugs.
Wait, say that again.
So people those want to be a very, very highly spiritual. They also taking some type of these things. But
because we read about the soma, right? This thing that is supposed to be drunk by the enlightened, and then among the Greeks, we kukion, right? That's the idea that there are these potions that you drink and they will bring you to a higher plane. and it's all about inhibition still.
It's not higher plane, but it's try to be inhibit some process and just try to attain one process. May all energy diverse in. It's a kind of like a laser beam. What laser do? It's always target one particular. The energy just go is one direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those people also try to be just focus on one direction, inhibit all other process, just only one cell, one target.
Okay, hang on. You're saying that the reason that on both ends of the arc of this desire, or this search for normalization, which is to say to function like a normal person in the world, there are people who are mostly standard deviation, right? They are the religion people.
It's a kind of like a bell shape.
Yeah, it's a bell curve, right? And so there's most people who are here practicing the normal religion, and then there are people who say we don't want religion at all, but give us ketamine, give us cocaine, give us ayahuasca, give us these drugs because we also need to inhibit our brains. And then on this end also are religious people who are also saying that, oh, you know what, we want to do what these things people are doing, but we want to leave just one process running. That process is the process that loves Krishna. That process is the process that loves Durga. That whatever that process is.
So that is kind of like a creation by themselves. It's a process. You can also create that process by yourself to inhibit other process, and for that you have to be just work on your reward system, because then you have to be just inhibit